like to invite you, and I'm so happy to see you at our February meeting today. And with that, we will go to our Invocation and Pledge, which will be led today by our wonderful County Commissioner, Janet Long. And then we'll have our introductions. So if you'd all like to stand.
Please bow your head. O God, from whom all power comes, by whose divine will we must all abide, we thank you for our civil liberties and freedom, for our opportunities and our privileges. We beg of you today to bless, assist, and enlighten the members of this board here in our county. May we prove worthy of the confidence placed in us by our fellow citizens. May we be just and upright in our thinking, honest in all of our actions, and ever be guided by a true conscience in the actions we propose or vote on this afternoon. Please forgive us all our mistakes and selfish tendencies, and help prepare us by our good deeds for an eternal life with you. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was wonderful. I think sometimes we do have to remember to not be selfish. We'll start with our introductions. Commissioner Cliff Mertz.
Yes, I'm Commissioner Cliff Mertz from the City of Safety Harbor, representing the communities of Safety Harbor, Oldsmar, and Tarpon Springs.
Good afternoon, everyone. Councilmember Brandy Gabbard, City of St. Petersburg.
Good afternoon. I'm Vice Mayor Patty Reed from the City of Pinellas Park. Thank you.
Hi, Bonnie Nealwell, council member, and I'm in supporting the inland communities.
Hello, everyone. Gina Driscoll, St. Petersburg City Council, and representing PSTA.
Good afternoon, everybody. Michael Smith, City of Largo, Vice Mayor.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Eggers, and I'm on the County Commission.
Good afternoon. Councilmember David Albritton, representing the City of Clearwater.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. My name is Janet Long. I'm a Pinellas County Commissioner and Vice Chair this year. And Vice Chair of Forward Pinellas as well, I think, right?
That's right.
There you go. Thank you.
Got my two right here. I'm Whit Lanton. I'm the Executive Director.
I'm Cookie Kennedy, the Chair of Forward Pinellas, and I also represent all the beach communities. Richie Field, is that right? Floyd will be here very shortly. And so we'll continue. Tina, is there anyone, a citizen wishing to be heard on any item not already on the agenda for action by the board today?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have Mike Reardon here today.
Thank you. Hi, Mike.
Hi. I haven't been here since November 19. What's new? I'm here to talk about Drew Street, and there's a lot of progress with FDOT. I guess we're getting our sidewalk sometime this month, but for 4.5 blocks, and construction in 2024. But this issue goes back for me to 2004, and I really got involved in 2017 when I was asked to participate in an aspect of the streetscape by Kimley Horn. In September of 19, Commissioner Eggers was on the, took a tour with me for about 45 minutes, and a number of people from the City Commission in Clearwater, and recently last week, 2 members of FDOT walked up and down, and where'd she go? Anyway, a member of Fort Pinellas. Is she here? Chelsea's here? I don't see Chelsea. Chelsea is, you look different. I'm not on Drew Street now. And here's the deal. And I don't care about this 85th percentile thing, this statute. This statute should not apply to Drew Street. They're applying a statute, and even if they do a speed study and got Drew down to an average 45 miles an hour, you hit the 85th percentile, you're at 38.25 miles an hour. Drew Street needs to be 30 miles an hour from Jupiter to Myrtle, period. Because you're applying a statute based on the road being the proper width, not 9.5, less than 9.5, 10 feet wide. The road isn't wide enough for 40 miles an hour. I looked through the green book, the sidewalks don't meet the requirements for the speed. The neighborhood doesn't meet the requirements for the speed. Nothing meets the requirement for the speed. The only way to slow cars down is hit them in the pocketbook. Multiple members of Clearwater City Commission have asked for this road to be slowed down. Members of this board have asked, and the county commission have asked for this street to be slowed down. Slow the street down. What you're telling me is if nothing was being done to Drew Street, this speed would stay 40 miles an hour because they're not doing reconfiguration. The statute should only apply to roads that meet the minimum requirements for the speed it's currently at. And this road has not for over 40 or 50 freaking years. Drop it to 30 miles an hour. Multiple people will be doing it between 30 and 40. I just saw a sign, tickets start at $2.56 per speeding ticket. When you get a ticket doing 50 miles an hour and 30, many people, not all, will slow the hell down. There is no reason to apply this statute to this section. I'm talking 1.8 miles. Slow the damn road down. They're gonna do another speed study. Speed study won't do it. The citizens of Clearwater, commissioners on this board, commissioners of the county, and members of the Clearwater City Council have been asking for this road to be slowed down for decades. And it's been verbalized from this board continuously since 2019 when Commissioner Eggers politely called it, what did you call it? Really bad or something. Subpar. You called it subpar. Well, I would use a different word than subpar. I want this road slowed down regardless of the construction starting in 2024. And we're talking about 1.8 freaking miles. How many streets in Clearwater have had ABC Action News stand out there doing live broadcasts? One time when an accident happened in front of the camera by the laundry, what do you call it? Place to take your shirt. I don't go there very much.
Cleaners.
Thank you. I'll be looking for some action.
Tk you.
I like this room better than the other one.
Thank you. Thank you. Tina, are there any other citizens to be heard today?
No, Madam Chair, there are not.
Next, we'll go to agenda item, consent agenda. Do any of the board members wish to pull any items from the consent agenda today? Tina, if there are any members of the public who wish to speak on the consent agenda?
No, Madam Chair, there are not.
Move approval of the consent.
Is there a second? Did you get that, Tina?
If the second was Smith, yes.
Yes, it was. Would you please take the roll?
Madam Chair, this does not require a roll call vote.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We'll go to public hearing items from the MPO. This would be item 5A. It is a proposed modification to the FY 2021-22, FY 2025-26 Transportation Improvement Program, which will be presented by Alex from Ford Pinellas. Hi.
Hi.
Alexis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Alexis Mpoac. I'm for Pinellas staff. Thank you. I'll be presenting on the recommended TIP modification to reflect the changes to the UPWP. So why does the TIP need to be modified? As you all know, we receive our federal and state grant funds through FDOT, through the UPWP. During last month's meeting of the board, you all voted to modify the UPWP, and the currently adopted TIP must be modified to reflect these changes in funding. So what changes in funding have occurred? As were approved last month, there was a reduction in FTA 5305 funds for fiscal year 22. after the federal government released the official dollar amount. There was also a 20% soft match for these funds from the Florida Department of Transportation, and a 10% local match is no longer needed because of this soft match. So the net impact on the Ford Pinellas budget is a reduction in available transit planning funds by $145,000 for fiscal year 22. So I'll break that down really quick. So this is the tip table before these modifications. So we're looking at the MPO transit planning section. And previous estimations for fiscal year 22 showed $485K from the federal government and a 10% hard match from FDOT and 10% hard match from local funds. Now these were just estimations. After the modification, based on the UPWP changes, we see a reduction of $24,000 from the federal government. And that soft match is then reflected. We do not have that cash available anymore, so $120,000 is reduced from the state and local funds. So the soft match is coming from a toll credit from the state. Basically, this is a reward of sorts that the state government can match, soft match funds to the federal government instead of giving cash, and they can use these toll credits instead. And are there any questions?
I'll just clarify a little bit. That was a really good explanation. Toll credits are a really strange thing. It's a reflection of local contribution expressed through the public paying tolls on our toll system. So the federal government acknowledges that that is a valid local contribution, and that's why they can soft match that.
Any questions from the board for Alexis? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Kennedy, I feel like I am compelled to also point out that that $145,000 reduction in our budget is kind of hard to take. So it is something that does affect our ability to get some things done. In our budget process next month, you'll start to see us developing our FY23 budget. And in that budget, we had a commitment last year from the county administration to continue that 10% local match to help our financial position given this loss. And we expect that that will continue from the county commission. We hope it will. But you'll see that next month. It doesn't fully offset the $145,000 loss, but it does help. And so we appreciate the county's partnership on that.
Very good. Tina, is there anyone in the public who would like to speak on this item?
No, Madam Chair, there is not.
Then we'll close the public hearing, and I am looking for a motion.
Move approval.
Is there a second? And this is a roll call vote.
Who made the second, please?
Commissioner Long.
Thank you. Councilmember Driscoll, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Eggers?
Yes.
Councilmember Albritton?
Aye.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Mers?
Yes.
Councilmember Gabbard?
Yes.
Commissioner Seal?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Noble?
Yes.
And Chair Kennedy.
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you.
I need to change my vote from yes to aye. Thank you.
Smarty. You know. Okay, let's get that out of our system. We're going to move on to the Pinellas Planning Council now, which will be conducted as follows. I will first ask for Pinellas staff to present the items. The applicant local governments are available for questions as needed. Once each presentation is given, I will then ask for proponents of the proposal to speak, then opponents, and finally any other citizens who wish to comment or ask questions on the case. We will then hear rebuttal by the applicant as necessary and a staff response or summary. At that time, the board will ask questions, and then I will close the public hearing, and the board will deliberate and take action.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. For the record, Nosheen Arman, Planning Analyst at Ford Pinellas, and today I'll be presenting a case from the City of Tarpon Springs. And in this case, the city is seeking to amend a property from the retail and services and residential low-medium categories, all to only the retail and services category. The purpose of this amendment is to designate the property under that one designation and also to allow for the use of a medical office on the property. The amendment area is located at 1954 South Pinellas Avenue, specifically on the southwest corner of Highland Avenue and South Pinellas Avenue, which is also Alt 19. It is approximately 0.39 acres in size, and currently on the property there is a vacant building which was formerly used as a real estate office that has now closed down, and surrounding uses include other low-intensity retail commercial uses, residential uses, and also the Pinellas Trail on the other side of Alt 19. To provide some context for the subject property, it was annexed into the city in 2021, and under the unincorporated Pinellas County land use designation, it existed under two split categories, and the city is requesting to designate this as one category to be more consistent with their comprehensive planning and also consistent with the surrounding neighborhood characteristics. The following is an image of the front of the subject property where you can see the existing office on the property. Next, an image of the south of the subject property, giving you a glimpse of some of those low-intensity retail commercial uses. And lastly, an image of the north of the subject property, showing similar uses along Alt 19. The map in front of you shows the current countywide plan map categories of residential, low, medium, and retail and services. And as you can see, that split designation that was adopted through the annexation from unincorporated Pinellas County. And also on the slide are the permitted uses and density and intensity standards for this category. Similarly, the uses and standards for the retail and services category. And as mentioned, the purpose of this amendment is to designate the entire property under one single category, which is retail and services, and you can see that on the map in front of you as well. Now, as you're aware, one of the considerations we take into account is whether the amendment area is in the coastal high hazard area or CHHA, and the vast majority, approximately 98% of the amendment area, is in the CHHA. But it is located on a designated evacuation route, which is South Pinellas Avenue, and is also the site of existing and planned infrastructure and an existing disturbed area, which you saw from the existing building on the property, which will just be adaptively reused for a medical office. And moreover, despite the fact that this entire property is being amended to retail and services, which at the countywide level would increase the allowable residential density, what's happening at the local level is that the corresponding category change is actually resulting in a decrease in allowable density. So at the local level, the local future land use category is going from commercial general to commercial neighborhood, the latter of which has more restrictive residential uses. To conclude, this proposed amendment is appropriate for the intended purpose and is consistent with the locational characteristics for the retail and services category, and it can be concluded that this amendment is consistent with the relevant countywide considerations contained in section 6531 of the countywide rules. That section is shown here in front of you with those relevant considerations. And lastly, there were no public comments for this case, concluding my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nasheen. I also want to mention that I believe Allie Keene is here from Tarpon Springs staff. Okay, in case anyone has any questions. Tina, are there any proponents today wishing to be heard?
No, Madam Chair, as I look at the sign-in, there's no proponents, no opponents, and no additional citizens to be heard regarding this case.
Thank you. Then I'm going to close the public hearing, and I'm going to ask if there are any questions from the board.
Move approval.
Second.
And we will take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to,
Madam Chair?
yes, sir.
Just had a question real quick.
Yes.
You didn't notice a text from Mayor Bujalski. She said she was coming, got a flat tire, and doesn't know that she'll be here in time. So she wanted to make sure, and she has apologized for not making it.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, and the second thing is I meant to ask Jensen, really don't need a comment necessarily today, but just in taking a look at Alt 19 going north at Tampa Road and at Curlew. In the rush hour traffic, it is really backed up. I know I've talked to our traffic folks here. So whatever we can do to maybe look at the time frame from 4 to 6, or I call it rush hour getting north, we need some relief there because it's really getting backed up, and I suspect it's going to get worse in the next month. But it's bad even when the snowbirds aren't down. I mean, it's certainly rush hour related. So if you could just take a look at Curlew and Tampa on Alt 19. Thanks, Jensen. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Dave. And I also want to acknowledge that Commissioner Seal is here too today from the County Commission. We'll move now to agenda item 6, presentations and/or action items. And first, I'm going to ask for Councilmember Driscoll for your PSTA report.
Thank you. The PSTA board met on January 26, 2022. One of the items for discussion was a presentation by CEO Brad Miller regarding waterborne transportation. He gave a presentation on potential ferry investment strategies similar to the presentation that he gave at the December meeting of the Fort Pinellas Waterborne Transportation Committee. The routes included the Cross Bay Ferry, Clearwater to Clearwater Beach, Dunedin and Indian Rocks Beach, plus Madeira Beach. And the board requested that additional information about the proposed services be presented as the conversation evolves, such as detailed budgets, current and projected levels of ridership, and economic and tourism benefits to the destinations along the routes. The PSTA board was also given a summary presentation of the Sunrunner Rising development study, just as Fort Pinellas was given at the last board meeting. PSTA discussed replacing our aging bus fleet with electric vehicles. We are well on our way to accomplishing that. Some of the key concerns regarding the Sunrunner was the connections from neighborhoods into that corridor and the integration of recommendations into a comprehensive and inclusive citywide plan. PSTA is also excited to announce that we have partnered with the City of Clearwater to bring back the free spring break park and ride. That service will begin on March 1st and allow beachgoers to park at several lots in downtown Clearwater and get a free ride to and from the beach. PSTA's next regular board meeting will be held on February 23rd. Thank you.
I just want to make an announcement because we're using our new system that vibrating that you're hearing, if you are not speaking, then I want you to turn off your speaking. That's doing that. Okay, good. Next, we're going to go to agenda item 6B, T-Barter, and I would like Commissioner Long to give your report.
Thank you very much. Well, Commissioner Long doesn't have much to say today about T-Barter because our meeting last month was canceled for lack of quorum. We do have a meeting scheduled though this coming Friday.
Commissioner, is your microphone on?
I thought they were all on all the time now.
Hello? Well, I guess they weren't. Okay, let's see, where was I? So T-Barter was canceled for lack of a quorum. We have a meeting this Friday scheduled, and hopefully we will have a quorum. There are several things that T-Barter was working on. One of them was a study for the CSX rail line, but now we have learned that CSX is not, those lines are no longer for sale. And so it remains to be seen what direction we go in with regard to that. But we are continuing with our BRT, Bus Rapid Transit regional system, which will be a large focus of ours going forward. And I do not have a legislative update about our legislative ask because I'm not on that legislative committee anymore. Or maybe I am, but we haven't had a meeting. We'll have it on Friday. So more to come on that.
Thank you, Commissioner
That's the
Long.
end of my report.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I could.
Yes.
Thank you for that report. I'd like to just add a little bit of additional information. FDOT is continuing to talk with CSX and keep that line of communication open. And I think they have another meeting planned. I'm not sure how soon, to explore other alternatives other than outright purchase, since they're not willing to sell it. CSX has had 3 different CEOs in the last 6 years since they first floated that idea of selling that, and I think some of their investment back was that they are looking to invest more in freight rail transportation. So, you know, on the one hand, it's a disappointment. On the other hand, maybe we'll get better freight distribution to Pinellas County on the underutilized CSX tracks. The other thing that may be worth mentioning, and I don't think it's premature to say so, is that TBARTA has been studying the urban gondola study. They've been looking at an alignment in St. Petersburg and in Clearwater to Clearwater Beach. And they were informed as recently as maybe yesterday or day before by Mayor Welch that that is not a priority of his administration at this time. So they are going to complete in our record of finding, but they don't expect to have any local support for that at this time. So they're pivoting to look more at the Clearwater to Clearwater Beach market. And I think that's a good opportunity for further discussion with the city of Clearwater.
Thank you, Whit. We'll go on to item 6C, which is Advantage Pinellas Investment Corridor Transition Plan for Alternate US 19, and Christina will be presenting today.
Hi everyone, my name is Christina Mendoza. It's a little echoey. Principal Planner with Forward Pinellas for the record. Today I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of the scope and goals for the Advantage Pinellas Investment Corridor Transition Plan for Alternate US 19, also known as State Road 595. So as many of you may be aware, Forward Pinellas has worked with our partners to establish the Advantage Pinellas framework, which includes our 2045 Long-Range Transportation Plan, our Active Transportation Plan, the Countywide Housing Compact, and the PSTA Fiscal Year 2021 to 2030 Transit Development Plan. And together, these efforts really create a vision that recognizes the unique context of our county and guides future development and needed transportation investments accordingly. It recognizes the need to connect people to jobs and housing that's affordable. And this framework is meant to strengthen existing communities while preparing them for change. It establishes a countywide commitment to shared actions and outcomes that increase linkages to jobs and housing through safe and efficient transportation options. So I'm sure some of you are very familiar with our investment corridor strategy that's outlined in our Advantage Pinellas framework. But for context, Forward Pinellas worked with our partner agencies to identify the locations best suited for reinvestment, linking jobs and housing opportunities in the county. This analysis looked at population, employment, workforce development, and affordable workforce housing. Locations were scored based on these factors, and then Forward Pinellas identified the best routes to connect these areas via transit service in the county. Through Advantage Pinellas, Forward Pinellas has created the investment corridor strategy, where these priority investment corridors identified in the countywide plan will be prioritized for redevelopment linking jobs and housing. And the linkage of jobs and housing through the incorporation of quality transportation options is emphasized through the countywide housing compact, as well as PSTA's most recent TDP. This approach to transportation investments and future growth will serve to protect our established neighborhoods and enhance areas best suited for additional growth and redevelopment. An alternate US 19 is identified as one of our priority investment corridors. So there were 3 priority investment corridors that we were analyzed as part of this project: Roosevelt East Bay, alternate US 19, and US 19. And to identify which corridor to examine first, we looked at zero-car households, population, employment, housing, and redevelopment potential and equity as part of an analysis. and we scored accordingly, and alternate 19 was selected. We've already met with a few of the stakeholder jurisdictions to talk about the project, such as Pinellas County and Largo, and both jurisdictions were very interested in the project, as well as they're interested because it'll align with some of their planning efforts that they have going on, such as the Clearwater-Largo Road Community Redevelopment District expansion. And the county has also expressed interest in looking at stormwater infrastructure along the corridor. So this is really an opportunity to engage the jurisdictions in a shared strategy where we can collectively look at these elements with a focus on redevelopment.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I couldn't help myself when I looked at that map, because you didn't mention Seminole, and it goes right through Seminole, does it not? Have you talked with them?
We have. Actually, I heard from them early this week.
And what was the reaction?
We've asked all of the jurisdictions to provide input on our consultant selection process. We've sent them our submittals that we received. We've got 4 consultants that we're considering as part of this process, and Seminole has already sent us their comments, and they are very interested in meeting with us to talk with us further about the project.
We have not met with their elected officials yet.
No.
I'll be interested.
You can proceed.
Okay.
Christina.
So currently, the study limits for the project are alternate US 19 at State Road 60 South to 58th Street North at 5th Avenue North and 58th Street North from 5th Avenue North to Central Avenue. The existing land use along the corridor is primarily commercial and residential uses with some employment and office. The FDOT context classification for the corridor are urban general and suburban commercial. And generally, the corridor is largely low-scale, disjointed commercial and residential development with limited bicycle and pedestrian facilities, and it's largely in need of reinvestment overall. So the goal of this project is to create a redevelopment and economic opportunity strategy to link jobs, job training, and workforce housing that encourages the incorporation of enhanced transit service as well as other multimodal options. And this is going to be done by utilizing a context-sensitive approach. This study will involve a community-based evaluation to determine how best to meet current and future development needs and to establish a long-term plan for the evolution of the corridor. This will include an assessment of regulatory barriers to redevelopment, particularly for housing that's affordable and for development that's accessible by all modes. This can be done through incentives for the private sector, to redevelop with affordability in mind, and to guide local governments in revising regulations that can hinder redevelopment and affordable housing, such as those related to parking, stormwater, buildings, setbacks, open space, etc. While at the same time, we want to be sure to encourage good urban form. So this project will create a vision for the corridor to accommodate future growth and economic opportunity for Pinellas County's diverse workforce. The study will feature an extensive public engagement component from start to finish, a corridor-wide analysis that will look at existing conditions, market conditions, and a multimodal connectivity, a redevelopment vision to identify a vision map for the corridor, establish areas of change, define place types along the corridor, look at potential station area locations, and identify redevelopment types and equitable redevelopment strategies. It will include an implementation framework for developing regulatory incentives and funding strategies. And it'll all culminate in developing a corridor redevelopment plan that will include recommendations related to implementation, redevelopment principles and incentives, housing affordability, multimodal improvements, and performance measures. The corridor redevelopment plan will include short, midterm, and long-term strategies for implementation, as well as specific improvements that could be advanced in the near term. So we sent the scope outline to 4 of our consultants, and we've received submittals back from all of them. We're currently reviewing the submittals internally, and like I mentioned earlier, we've sent them out to our key stakeholders at the jurisdictions as well as at PSTA. And next we'll be selecting a consultant and finalizing the scope, and our goal is to bring the scope and this consultant selection back to our board in March. Then we'll be issuing a notice to proceed to the consultant and kicking off the project likely the end of March, beginning of April. So this is an anticipated project timeline. We anticipate the project to take approximately 12 to 18 months to complete. Task 1, which is the public involvement component, will take place throughout the entire duration of the project. Task 2 to Task 4, which are the corridor-wide analysis, redevelopment vision, and implementation tasks, will each likely take about 6 months. And the corridor redevelopment plan will likely take 6 to 7 months. So with that, I will take any questions.
Anyone on the board have a question for Christina? Okay, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I'd like to briefly follow up if I may.
Sure.
Thanks, Christina, for that. As she mentioned, this is the centerpiece of the adopted 2045 long-range transportation plan, as well as being incorporated into the county-wide plan for the land use side of the agency. We did meet with the City of Largo Commission and staff, and the City of Largo is very excited about this. We're happy to have that partnership. And then I did sit down with county administration, and they are also very excited about this project and have been talking about things like regional stormwater needs in this corridor as well. So I think there's a great opportunity for partnership. We'll see about all of the cities along the corridor, but I'm hopeful that we'll have good alignment. This is part of the Advantage Pinellas strategy that has been embraced by Pinellas County as part of the Housing Compact and by Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority in their transit development plan. And that was a unique alignment of really three agencies coming together around one idea to advance for the benefit of Pinellas County. So I'm very encouraged, and hopefully we'll have multiple of these corridor investment strategies that we pursue in coming years, but we wanted to get this one started, and it doesn't mean that this is the only corridor we're looking at for improvements. FDOT is doing a State Road 580 corridor. We have some bus rapid transit improvements coming for 34th Street South. And then, as you know, T-BARTA is looking at the US 19 North corridor for regional rapid transit. So there's a lot of good things happening, but this is really more, in my mind, a redevelopment strategy than a transportation strategy, but that's also a key piece to it.
Thank you, Whit. There is not any action item on this, so we will move to item 6D, safety, performance measures and targets. This is an action item, and Alexis will be presenting. Thank you for coming back up.
Yes.
And I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to say hi to Councilmember Richie Floyd. Thanks, I'm glad you're here.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Alexis Bobeck. I'm a planner with Ford Pinellas. So I'll be presenting on the safety performance measures and targets. So every year, as part of the Highway Safety Improvement Program, locally at the MPO level, we are required to set performance measures for safety, and there are 5 that we look at every year. And we receive this data from FHWA, and this year we received data from 2020, and they are 5-year rolling averages. So this data is from 2016 to 2020 averaged. And we look at total number of fatalities, total number of serious injuries, number of non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries, as well as fatality rate and serious injury rate. So FDOT declared their measures to be 0 for fiscal year 2022. However, for Pinellas, in the past, we have not adopted the 0. We set our own targets, and FHWA recommends that we set achievable targets in the next few years, so we use a formula to calculate these. And these targets were set, I believe, 2 years ago, and they've remained the same since then. So this table here, and it might be a little bit confusing just looking at it, but we're looking at the percent change from last year's 5-year rolling average to this year, and then we're looking at the percent change from 6 years ago, 2010 to 2014, to this year. So for annual fatalities, we're seeing an increase over time for both serious injuries, we're seeing a decrease. And that also applies to the rates. So fatality rates are going up and serious injury rates are going down. And I'll break those down a little bit more here in a second. So I have a table for each can everyone hear me still? I have a table for each measure. So here is the average annual fatalities, which is a total number. And this is over a span of 6 or 7 years here. And that red line is the target that was set in 2020, so 97.4. And you can see the trend line above that, which is where we are currently. So there was a 0.9% increase in average annual fatalities from last year's data to this year. And we still have not reached that target yet. So here we're looking at number of serious injuries. Again, this trend line is going down, so we are getting closer to reaching that 2020 target. And there was an 8.1% decrease in annual serious injuries from last year's data to this year. Fatality rate, this is closely in line with total fatalities. So there is a slight upward trend over time. We have not reached that 2020 target yet, and we saw a 2.1% increase from last year to this year's data. Serious injury rate, again, in line with the total number of serious injuries, we're seeing a decrease over time. There was a 7.3% decrease from last year to this year, and we're getting closer to that 2020 target. Finally, we have the ped bike serious injuries and fatalities. This one, we're hovering close to that performance measure there, the target, and there seems to be a slight decrease over time, so we're looking at a 3.8% decrease from last year's to this year's data. So in context a little bit, our numbers are here in the green, and this is our crash fatality rate for 2020. On the left, you can see the entire US crash fatality rate, the Southeast region, and Florida. So we're kind of in line, with the region and the entire US. On the right, you can see other MPOs of similar sizes, and they're where they are. So other urban areas, we're pretty close to them. Orlando performed much better than us, and Pasco County, like other rural and suburban areas, tend to perform higher on the fatalities. For serious injury rate, again, on the left you can see where Florida stands, where we stand in the green, and to the right are similar sized counties. Again, those rural, suburban areas tend to perform worse. So as this is an action item, we're looking to retain those targets that were set in 2020 and 2021, as we haven't met them yet. We want to restate the long-term goal of 0 fatalities on the transportation network. This will be reflected in our policy decisions, long-range transportation plan. We want to continue monitoring performance going forward. So this is a summary table of where we stand to those targets, and then the changes from last year to this year are indicated with the arrows to the right. And does anyone have any questions? There's a lot of data at once.
I'd like to follow up if I may, real quick. But if you have a question, go ahead.
Michael, okay. Anyone on the board have a question for Christina?
Why retain it? I get we haven't, but why not try to a little bit better? Move it around a little bit to see if we could do better.
Whit, maybe you want to go ahead with that.
That's a great question. Well, we haven't had success achieving that 20% reduction thus far. So if we set it lower, are we just setting ourselves up for further failure? Again, I think we need legislative help on this. I think we need strong action. You heard Mike Reardon earlier. I think we need strong action from our local governments to address some of this issue. I think we need more enforcement. We need a lot of things to work on. So I'm wary of setting this even higher. And as Alexis mentioned, FDOT has set a target of 0. We've set a vision of 0, which is 2045, and a target of a 20% reduction, which we think is a reasonable and achievable outcome. Unfortunately, not everything is moving in the right direction. Some things are. So I think it would just set ourselves up for failure if we set a more aggressive target without real firm backing from everybody else about how we're going to get there.
So to your comments, how are we going to change that?
So we last month you approved a speed management pilot program where we are going to start looking at ways to better manage the speeding that occurs on many of our roadways, particularly in off-peak times. So that's one step. We, in our legislative committee earlier, talked about a bill that's moving through the Senate that would allow for speed cameras to issue tickets for people who speed in school zones. That's another component. And then our responsibility is to program projects in our transportation improvement program that help us achieve these outcomes. And we've done that. So you had a presentation, I want to say, I can't remember when, but last year about the frontage roads on US 19, where a lot of our fatalities and high injury network is occurring. And DOT is coming up with a design that would make those frontage roads safer. We heard from the board pretty clearly that you didn't want to see lanes eliminated, but there are other things we can do on those frontage roads to make them safer. We have the State Road 580 corridor study going on right now that is focusing on safety. Drew Street with funding in place for 24, Curlew and Alt 19, another high crash location on our high injury network, funding in 23. So we're moving as fast as the funds let us move. And one thing that we have heard is that the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department has not been as eager to step up for what is it called? Chelsea, help me out. For the high visibility law enforcement. Clearwater and St. Pete have done that, but the Sheriff's Office has not been as aggressive. There's some equity issues with that, but we think high visibility law enforcement is a good strategy to help address some of these speeding issues. Clearwater and St. Pete have been really good partners on that. So there's some other things that we can be doing, and getting all the local governments to adopt the Vision Zero resolution. Thank you, Largo, and others for doing that is another step in that direction.
Question?
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, just two things. First of all, that work that we talked about last year on the frontage roads is so important. I mean, it's almost like the off-ramps are kind of like a NASCAR race when you're slowing down to get into get refueled. I mean, it is, and they don't slow down though. The problem, NASCAR, you have a speed, and you pay the price if you don't. So I'm glad that one's moving forward. The other thing is, again, anecdotal information feedback on those speed feedback signs. I just don't see enough of them, for instance. And you talked about after hours having a problem. So some of the speed feedback signs that I've seen out there are solar related. So you get solar energy to run it. I'm assuming at night they don't kick in. I'm just asking. And are we using that enough? Because I remember we had a speed feedback up on Drew Street. And I'm not saying that that's the answer. I'm just, so Mike, if you're listening, I'm not saying that this is the answer. But I'm saying just as an interim solution to try to, because it tends to be that people see themselves speeding, and most of the people, not all of them, will slow down because of that. They don't even realize that they've exceeded it.
I mean, that's a good question. We can talk with Pinellas County Public Works staff about that, and some of our local government partners. I know DOT has a lot of speed feedback signs that they sometimes lend out to the local governments to deploy. So we'll see what we can do to put more of those. I think they are pretty effective. And I've heard from others who've told me that they feel they're pretty effective.
You know, Whit and I were talking the other day because a resident mentioned that this is specifically in communities that are close together, like on Gulf Boulevard, that there are different speed limits, and that if we could possibly have the same speed limit, if the communities would go, we're going to talk about that too, and I think that would help if we had a continuous speed limit that was the same. And in this case, we were talking about Gulf Boulevard. So,
yeah, well, one of the issues with that, like I'm thinking of Drew Street, for instance, everything east of, well, it's a little bit west of Keene, but everything east of Keene is 4 lane. That's a little different, and a turn lane. So when you get west of it, after a little bit, it gets down to that 2 lane, and it's just a different. I understand what you're saying, trying to bring some continuity. But I think there's also, you have to realize that, I mean, it really is different. And that Drew Street is so different. And as you get closer to 19, it even opens up more. I'd hate to make it all 30 miles an hour when that one element of Drew Street really dictates 30 miles an hour, that one little stretch they were talking about. So anyway, just a thought.
So part of that, just so that I'm understanding this correct, David, is part of that is 40, and then it goes down to, they'd like it to go down to 30. Is there any kind of a happy medium, even 5?
Yeah.
Or you don't think that would be any?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the point that Mike was making is that, maybe the speed limit that's there is warranted if the roads were wide enough and the lanes were wide enough,
Okay.
But because they're not, it really doesn't warrant the normal, what they would deem the normal speed for that road.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a compromise, really. I mean, I think you really have to look at it when you have 4-lane roads with center divides, or 4-lane roads without center divides, or 2-lane roads without center divides, and the 2-lane roads being substandard in terms of width. I don't think you can apply a general one there. I mean, it's just a thought. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think we have to.
I'm trying to learn about it too myself.
Yeah.
Going down. Whit, anything else?
I appreciate this conversation very much. I neglected to mention the safety planning study that we're doing for Treasure Island and St. Pete Beach. And last night, Indian Shore said they wanted to be part of that too. I kind of dissuaded them from being part of that study, but I said we can work with them if they wanted to look at speeds through Indian Shores or crossings or whatever. And then the other point I wanted to mention is that the Florida Department of Transportation is embarking on a lighting program for the state roadways, and that funding is in place in 23, I want to say. So it's coming up within the next year, and that will be a big help. And that's something that we've also talked with the county about, is working on improving lighting on some of the county roadways. So all of this comes into play. Where we see a lot of the fatalities, though, are on our major arterial roadways, particularly in lower income and minority communities, where the traffic signals are spaced really far apart to move cars most efficiently. And pedestrians being pedestrians don't walk 2,000 feet out of direction, and they tend to play Frogger at the mid-block location. And we've Gulf to Bay, Alt 19, and I'm sure on many roads to the south. We had a fatality yesterday on 71st Street, Mayor, where the county is putting in sidewalks, but not for about 3 more years. So those kinds of issues, we just are playing catch up, and we're working as fast as we can. So thank you for your attention to safety and making it a priority.
He says that to me because I have a gentleman that comes into my business, and every time he comes in to get his hair cut, he reminds me about 71st, and this has been going on for 5 years, so we finally got him in the program for the sidewalks there. So, and now I'm going to hear that. Okay. All right. Is there any more questions for Christina?
Alexis.
Alexis. Shoot me today, will you? Please get it over. Tina, is there anyone in the audience or who would like to speak?
No, Madam Chair, there's not.
Okay, this is not an action item, so we're going to go ahead and go down to item 6D, which is...
Madam Chair, I apologize, it is an action item. We do need a motion, a second, and a vote, please.
Okay.
So moved.
David first, and second is Michael Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to 6E now, private sector perspectives. And I'm so happy Dr. Cynthia Johnson is here today. Please come up from the Pinellas County Economic Development Vision. I got a chance to see and hear Dr. Johnson speak at the Tampa Bay beaches last week, and you're just such a breath of fresh air. I'm so happy that you're with the county.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is absolutely my pleasure to come and just give you all a couple of highlights of what's happening in Pinellas County economic development. I've had the good pleasure of sitting down and talking with Whit and Rodney about what we plan to do and what the future looks like for economic development. So this afternoon, I just wanted to kind of share the vision that I have for the department, as well as go over a couple of our top priorities that we're working on. And so our vision for Pinellas County economic development is to create a resilient community that is inclusive, diverse, and accessible to all of our citizens. You know, there has been a tremendous opportunity in economic development for us to really look at how can we service the county full service with all of the opportunities we have in economic development. And so many of you have participated. We did a study last year about, you know, how can we best engage with our partners. And part of that study results was that we could be more intentional about the engagement. And so as we build a more resilient, inclusive, equitable economic development department, we are really focused on making sure that we are servicing all of the communities of Pinellas. We have the good pleasure of having a wonderful community perspective, whereas no matter what you come for, you have a community that could and should meet your needs. And that's with job opportunities as well as investment opportunities. We're really working very hard on creating an environment where businesses want to move, existing industry want to expand, and future workforce want to live. So we are being very intentional about creating these relationships. So I'll quickly share with you 5 of our top priorities. One will be equitable economic development. As Whit said a little bit earlier, we really have to make sure that we're being inclusive in the activities that we are doing, because we have some of our communities, particularly our communities of color, that have missed out on some opportunities because of the lack of intentionality to engage them and creating opportunities that meet the needs of those various communities. So as we make our decisions on how we're going to be an equitable economic development agency that's countywide, we are being very intentional about bringing in those communities that have been traditionally underserved. Second, the way that we're going to do that is through our business development initiatives. And our business development initiatives include business retention, expansion, and relocation. We have a keen focus on our industry that is currently here. We want them to stay, but we want them to grow strong. So we are creating programs that's going to help them do that. We know that when they're strong and they're vibrant and they're resilient, they create jobs for our citizens. And so we want to be very intentional about that alignment. As part of our business development activities also, we have our international component. With that international component, as COVID did teach us all a good lesson, that we're a Zoom call away from a partner that can be across the world. So we want to make sure that our businesses have access to those opportunities internationally. So we have formed a regional partnership with Hillsborough County, represented by the Tampa Bay EDC, Pasco County with their Pasco EDC, and Pinellas County to do some marketing to our international potential prospects and to help our businesses access those international opportunities. Another way that we are ensuring that we have equitable development is through our small business initiatives. The county was very wise in their decision to really hone in on what we were doing to service the small business enterprise area, and that is those businesses that are here in our community and looking for opportunities. So we have re-engineered that program. It is in its 4th year. It's 3rd year of full implementation. And we have taken that program from its initial stages 3 years ago at, I want to say it was about $250,000 that we were doing with small businesses in our community. And I'm proud to announce that we have increased that amount tremendously. And we did $17 million in 2021. And the year prior to that, 2020, we did 20.2 million. So even during the pandemic, we were still exceeding and doing things to make sure that we engage opportunities for our local businesses. The third thing that I wanted to talk to you about the equitable economic development, is our redevelopment initiatives. We are being extremely intentional about our redevelopment initiatives. We have quite a few partnerships with our stakeholders. We are currently working with Fort Pinellas on the TIL study and some other community conversations to address the issues that some of our communities have about how do they redevelop the area in a very intentional fashion where we are creating job opportunities that are sustainable. And so we have partnered with Whit and his team to make sure that we're locked in step, that we're really moving towards the same goals. That's going to be important for us because in economic development, we're in the posture of doing a strategic plan for our countywide implementation of our programming. And as we do that, I have spent my last few months, and Whit would know he was on my circuit ride, but I've spent my last few months meeting with every city partner, every chamber partner. I'm in the process with meeting with all of our major headquarters CEOs to talk about what the needs are. How can we best serve them as a community? And then I'm taking that information and it's helping us really craft how we are doing economic development for the county. One of the things we're being extremely intentional about is that we look at all the communities of Pinellas. It's not about one community over another community, but we may have 24 municipalities, but we have more to offer when we look at our collective communities to include our unincorporated areas. So my team and I, we have this new mantra in the office. We're one team with one voice for one Pinellas. You know, I'm like, hey, we're one Pinellas. And remember that we're one Pinellas. We're here to service all of our residents. So as we move forward with our partnership with Fort Pinellas and our other stakeholders, we are going with the posture of being one Pinellas. And in doing that, one thing I wanted to really hone in on is our employment sites program. It is very important that we be intentional about the redevelopment efforts that occur throughout the county. And because we are very postured nicely to be a redeveloped community, because of our lack of new land space to use, we have to be intentional about the use of the dollars that we have for redevelopment. And so we'll be doing a couple of things. Right now, we are doing a land study for our STAR Center. I like to call the STAR Center 96 acres of opportunity. So that's my 96 acres of opportunity. So those 96 acres of opportunity, we're doing a master plan on it to see what's the best use of that facility and making sure that as we look for opportunities to grow and create employment centers in Pinellas County, we're doing it with informed decision-making. And then lastly, I'll talk about the stakeholder collaborations. We don't do anything that we do in economic development in a vacuum. It is very important to me that we have not only relevant relationships with our stakeholders, but meaningful relationships with our stakeholders. I'm not very good at having meetings for the sake of meetings. I like to have some intended outcomes and not just a whole lot of output. So you'll see that my team and I are spending a lot of time on the foundation of the activities that we're doing, because we want to create an economic development organization that services all of the communities of Pinellas, that not only makes our activities resilient for our business community, and I'll just be honest and say I have a little selfish intent here. I want to create a community that my new granddaughter wants to stay in. So I'm thinking, if I can get the community that she will stay in, and she's only 2 months tomorrow, but I'm already thinking about her staying here. So if we can create that community that our grandkids want to stay in, we have really created a community that is not only resilient, but that has the resources, the assets, the partnerships that make people want to invest their dollars, move their businesses, and expand their workforce. So I look forward to continuing our work with Forward with Pinellas. My team is always, if we're not here, we're listening in. And when Rodney will tell you, we have them on speed dial. And it is really good because now we're starting to build a new message in the community that we do talk, we do collaborate, we do organize and align our activities. And that's very important because we want to make sure that we're making the best investment for our residents. So I said I'd be quick. It was like, be quick, but be informative. So I've tried to be quick, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about this great news that we have. We have a big announcement next week on February the 15th. Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners and the City of St. Petersburg, the Tampa Bay Innovation Center, and our new corporate partners, ARC Invest, will be doing the groundbreaking for our new 45,000 square foot incubator that the county will be building. It is an exciting time, and it is just not the building, but what the building is going to bring to the innovation district. I truly believe that Pinellas County is the innovation hub of the U.S. And St. Pete is the epicenter. There are a lot of things going on in that community that really supports what's happening with our business community. But we all know that all of our citizens don't live in St. Pete. So that's why it's so important that we have the communities of Pinellas be at the forefront of all of our municipal conversations. We have to look at for the total of countywide opportunities. And more importantly, what's good for Pinellas is good for the Tampa Bay region. What's good for the region is good for the state. And I like to say that we are at the center of all of that great activity. So thank you for your time, and do you want me to answer questions, or we're good?
Thank you. And thank you for your presentation. And I'm sorry I wasn't sitting here for the entire thing, but I was listening. So this is a great synergy towards a question that I've been asking several people all week long. And in an effort to help you move your vision forward, I'm very curious because you talked about the municipal involvement. And I've had several discussions over the last 10 days with a particular developer who is trying desperately and has been working on for 3 years now, bringing a new and innovative and futuristic community like you just spoke about for your grandchild. That really rang my bell because I feel the same way about my great-grandchild. And that's the 22nd Street I don't know what the name of it is, mixed place, whatever. I mean, what on earth is the hang-up? It's those kind of things that keep progress from moving forward when it takes that long to bring a really good effort to our community from someone who's willing to put his company and his dollars behind it. I don't get that. And everyone I've talked to up to today has said, oh, it's a great property. It's going to be fabulous. Except there's a big roadblock. And as far as I've been able to determine, it's that conversation we keep on spinning the wheel here about industrial land versus another kind of mixed use. And where are we going with that? Are we ever going to get that settled?
Well, Commissioner, I will just say that our office is in discussions with Joe and his team, and we probably are meeting on a regular basis. But I can tell you, as a result of the first time that I had the great pleasure of meeting him, he was extremely appreciative and excited that we were willing to help facilitate the process to bring the right people to the table. That has been some of the issue. And so we've been working with Rodney and with and the city of St. Petersburg on this issue. And I think that oftentimes when we don't have the right people at the table, we get misinformation. So I think that we are definitely working on that. And I think that we're at a place where we're getting more tangible outcomes that are really moving him in the direction that he's looking to go. But it's part of the process. And in fact, because of that conversation with Joe, there are others who are impacted with those same kind of questions. So my team is working with Rodney to actually set up what we're calling a community conversation. Because the business community is saying, well, what did this change and how is this gonna impact me? And so we're gonna put together a community conversation. We're in the planning process right now so that we can have the right people there to answer those questions for the business community.
Well, I appreciate hearing that, but you can imagine my frustration when this has been going on for 3 years and we're still talking and still trying to work through the process. At what point does someone say, okay, hey, somebody has to make a decision. You're either gonna move forward or you're gonna say, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a major construction project. We all know, those of us that are elected officials, time is money. And when you delay those kind of things, it sends the cost through the roof.
Absolutely.
So great that you're having a conversation, but when are we gonna move the dial? I'm sorry to be so.
Oh, no.
But.
I appreciate that, Commissioner, because it's this feedback that when I'm getting my city partners to move, this is how we express the urgency. We really need them to help move this forward. And so I can tell you that Mayor Welch's administration has really taken on this concern very seriously. And I think that we're going to get a little more swift movement on whatever the outcome is for the city with this project.
Commissioner Mertz, you're next.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Johnson, thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
It was good. One thing you mentioned that I thought was interesting was the perspective of one county. And I just wanted your thoughts on your potential interaction with the Small Business Association and the Small Business Development Centers, which are out there, and how people can relate. A lot of times I see that as community-based, somewhat fragmented, but the access for small businesses to be able to get necessary information for startups, for being able to do books, to be able to do various things, it's good, but it depends upon where you are. And your general thoughts on that?
Well, Commissioner, I think you'll be happy to know that in Pinellas County Economic Development, we are the lead agency for the Florida Small Business Development Center. The headquarters for Pinellas is located within our economic development operations. That being said, we have deployed what we call sub-centers. So I have my consultants going out throughout the county with our chamber partners. They are located in 8 different chambers, different days of the week, to try to meet the businesses where they are, as part of trying to make sure that we're being intentional about making access available. And I'll tell you that just last year, I did have my SBDC results, but just last year with our small business initiatives, we did over $18 million in county contracts. And that's outside of the Small Business Enterprise Program. This is through access for small business opportunities. And we did we did consulting with 772 businesses. Because I'm really big on outcomes, it's not, it has to be a meaningful engagement before you can put it on my list. So it can't be you send an email to a client. It has to be you had spent over an hour giving relevant information that brings value to that customer. So we are we're working really hard to make sure that we're meeting our small business community in a very intentional fashion. So thank you for that, and we will continue to strengthen that relationship with our cities. And we do have quite a number of our cities who we actually contract to provide services for in Clearwater and in St. Petersburg. Even though they have the greenhouse in St. Pete, it is Pinellas County that provides the services. So we are working very diligently to touch our small business community.
Well, thank you for that. And I like the interactions with the chambers.
Oh, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I can also see potential interactions with some of the more proactive libraries within those organizations as well.
Palm Harbor, Jean is our partner.
Yes, I know.
So Jean in Palm Harbor is one of our library partners.
Very
because nice. That's their community spot to go to is the library.
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gabbard and then Gina Driscoll. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. So thank you so much for coming today. It's so good to see you. So I just wanted to speak to, our one-on-one meeting that you took your very busy time to have with me. I can attest you are very intentional in all of your conversations, and I really just respected, the dialogue that we had, and just this idea to Commissioner Long's point of, how do we kind of be more future visioning as it pertains to our industrial lands, and how do we meet the balance of the need between growing jobs, which is critically important, but also bringing services and housing to the workforce who will support those jobs. And to the point of Joe First project on 22nd, that is an ideal developer who has that sort of concept in mind and who has experience in other areas. I had the opportunity to go down to Miami and actually see what he's done there in an area that was industrial, very depleted, really needed a lot of upbringing. And to see what he's done and realize that that is with intention for what the community needs, not just what a developer needs. When we start to work with developers like that, we send a signal to all developers that we are ready to do that work. So I love that you are moving forward and you're trying to help us as a city make sure that we are putting a little bit more swift action behind that, because I would not disagree that we have stalled for way too long and it's time to move that forward and send that message. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the partnership.
Good to see you.
You too.
Councilmember Driscoll.
Thank you, and thank you so much for being here today and giving us this great update. I will be following up as the chair of St. Petersburg City Council to see if we can get a council meeting on your calendar to provide an update for our city as well at a later date. I wanted to thank Commissioner Long, excuse me, for her comments regarding the 22 IMIX project. It's something that, I echo the frustration about how long that has taken. This is someone who has brought forward an idea, a concept, and a plan that truly makes sense for our city. And Mr. First has taken the time to really engage the community first and get people on board, listen to concerns, answer them, respond to them. I wish every developer was like him. It is so easy to communicate with him, and he understands what to do in order to create something transformative like what he's working on. So I wish that we could have rewarded that with a little bit swifter action. What we're looking at there is part of that being land that's zoned industrial, by a very antiquated definition. So what we're asking for, what the city of St. Petersburg is asking for, the people who are advocating for this project, is for us to modernize our zoning to meet the definition of industry today. If you go to the Warehouse Arts District, which is where that project will be located, and I say will because we are going to make it happen. The industry that you see there isn't the old dirty manufacturing industry of days gone by. In St. Petersburg today, what that means is Mark Ayling's MGA Sculpture Studio, where they are creating giant sculptures that are commissioned from people around the country. They are making things in that district, and part of this project is to create more spaces for more of those makers to be able to set up shop, do their work, use their talent, and truly have a business here in our city. We need your help. We need to get this done. So much time has gone by that people think that the project's been canceled. That's so sad, considering how much energy this man put into getting people excited about the project. We've responded to that by dragging our feet and walking through mud just for some, like, it's a zoning change. It's modernizing our definitions and modernizing our zoning. So thank you for hearing that. Thank you for committing to forward movement on that. We stand with you. We want to work with you. I look forward to hearing what happens next with that. You know, and just like with that, we're trying to, in St. Petersburg, we're trying to modernize our residential zoning as well to meet our needs of today. So if we can move forward with that at the same time that we're looking at things like industrial zone land, we can really create a blueprint for the future in St. Petersburg that's going to help us manage our growth and truly set us up to thrive economically, you know, for many years to come. So if we can really move forward on parallel paths with those two, I think we've got a real recipe for success. And I thank you for being on the team for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam,
Yes.
so Councilwoman Driscoll, I applaud your efforts to have the same kind of passion for moving this forward in a much kinder, gentler way than I did. But to Councilwoman Gabbard's point about, you know, when you work with a developer like that, it sends a signal. I think those were your words. But the signal that it is sending is St. Petersburg is a really tough place to get things done. And we all know that that's not accurate. There have been remarkable things done over the last decade in downtown St. Petersburg. But for goodness sakes, can we please identify what the action item is to get this moving forward? That's what I'm asking for. And I love the way you framed that with modernizing our zoning and the way in which we approach the difference between industrial lands like we've all thought about them for decades now. This has got to change, and I don't think it's just relevant to downtown St. Pete. I think it's relevant to the whole entire country anymore, but especially Pinellas County, when we are in such a pristine place. We're not like everywhere else. We've got to get with it or we're going to get left behind. Okay, I'm getting off my soapbox now. But thank you for letting me say all that because it's frustrating and I am just stunned at the tenacity of this particular person that he's still willing to go forward after all of this. So,
you know, Commissioner, I'll say, I'll just end with this, and that is the importance of having authentic, trusting relationships.
Thank you.
Whereas, you know, it is very important to me, you know, there are 4 team busters. I tell my team that's all it is, 4 team busters. Lack of trust, lack of transparency, turf wars, and tradition.
I love that.
And so as we build an equitable economic development, the department that's going to service all of Pinellas, it is our goal that we are trusting, that we honor tradition, but we don't allow it to keep us from moving forward, that we don't have turf wars, we're one Pinellas, so it belongs to all of us, and then that we are being transparent through the process. So with that being said, you all have a partner in moving Pinellas forward, and I loved, I know you didn't say we were a part of the Advantage Pinellas strategy, but what I would like to invite myself to be a part of that Advanced Pinellas strategy, because we are advancing Pinellas through equitable economic development. So thank you all so much for the opportunity.
Wait a
Wait a
second.
minute.
Can you
Whoa.
read those, can you say those four
Don't
team
leave.
busters again?
Lack of trust.
Yeah,
Lack of transparency.
right.
Tradition.
Oh,
and
tradition.
turf.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I
You're
want to
gonna
go
hear that
back
again.
to Commissioner Mertz's comments about small business, and, you know, we love our entire county, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that all the great small businesses that we have in Dunedin and Largo and Pinellas Park, Indian Rocks Beach, Safety Harbor, and Indian Rocks Beach, for a little tiny community, we have 30 businesses. I've been one of them for 30 years. And I think that some of the things that you offer, and I think the Chamber is a great piece to that, but I also think some kind of a platform where small business people could come and be educated on what you can offer them would be helpful. I know I've been a small business, very successful for 30 years, but I have never had help from the Economic Development Department from Pinellas County. I don't know much about it, and I think that small business people throughout this county, if there was some kind of a forum that you could put together where they could come and learn about what you can do to help them, especially those that are struggling specifically about the pandemic, or who were fortunate or unfortunate that they started during that time.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great opportunity as a small business person. I think I've experienced with that. Commissioner Mertz did a piece that he invited me to several years ago that was at USF. And it was a great experience, and I thought back then how wonderful it would have been if we could have something like this that was strictly for small business people, so that they can, we have so many young people now who are trying to open their own businesses, and I just think, and those that are my age that are struggling, that you could probably lend some educational pieces and help them. So I would like you to think about that too.
And Mayor, I'll say that is in the works. We're working on an electronic platform. It's going to be called One Pinellas. And with that One Pinellas electronic platform, it's a resource platform that no matter what stage your small business is at, you can access this platform and find a resource for that stage of business.
Okay.
We are in the actual development phases. We're working with the City of St. Pete is one of the partners. City of Clearwater is one of the inaugural partners. My goal of naming it One Pinellas is so that we can roll it out across all the communities in Pinellas. And then we're also working with Thrive, which is an incubator in South St. Petersburg, to help create this One Pinellas electronic platform for resources.
Good deal. Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, Madam Chair, let me just follow up with that. The thing that she was invited to was a National Academy of Inventors program that we put on at USF, and it's focused on this particular thing, academic inventions where inventors are involved, and through incubators and such are trying to transition technologies and patents that are developed into the marketplace to take ideas, which are ideas, and actually turn them into something. So your also discussion of incubators is very important, because there is a differing view and a growing change in how ideas are formulated, how they're transitioned, how they're brought out into the marketplace, and ultimately ideas become implemented into products, jobs, and things like that.
The
So-
ARC Innovation Center, the incubator that we will be groundbreaking on the 15th, has some very purposeful space for those pitches, for those patents to be prototyped right there on the facility. So, you know, we have been listening to the voices of the small business community in trying to craft a incubator that really addresses what some of the current needs are to make sure that we can take this concept to the market, because that's how we make money with it. Otherwise,
Right.
we're just dreaming, but that's how we make money with it. So thank you for that. I'm always available to hear your insight, your recommendations, your comments, because we do listen to them, and we do put it into the portfolio so that when we do our informed decision-making, we have a full perspective and not just, you know, what we think should be there. So thank you again for that.
Let me just follow finally with that is, in addition to our specific thing, there are numerous libraries in different locations that have now maker spaces and other things necessary so that, so everybody then has an idea, you know, can get access to sewing machines, the 3D printers, the various things to be able to turn ideas that everybody has into something, right? And then maybe that idea then moves into the next phase. So there's a lot of phases to your job where you have access and influence in, and it's exciting to hear that you have the willingness and the insight into wanting to move into those directions too.
Thank you.
Council, quick.
It's actually a question for Whit. I'm sorry. Do we have an update on the industrial land study? Is it still on track for this summer?
Yeah, I'll give you an update in just a minute on that. Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Well, not to be a real pain, but does that study have to be done before we can move this project forward?
No.
Thank God, that was a good answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. One more question.
It's just really a comment, and I'm glad that study's, that was going to be my question too about the study and when it's coming, because I do think the conversation of what fits into light industrial today needs to be had, and then there are areas that, because of that new definition, that maybe we need to think more nimbly about adjusting it around the county. But I mean, that there has been that kind of movement. First of all, we're being, constantly, there's things coming from Tallahassee that ask us to look at our light industrial and puts things at risk. I know that there are requests from different communities where light industrial's been traded off with other things as long as there's a job component. So that process is happening, and I think again, we have to be very careful to keep what the intention of that light industrial was in areas that we think it belongs. So, and that's not easy, and it does mean that not all things fit under that category to the point that's been raised today. And I think we just have to be mindful that land is necessary to attract businesses here. And if those businesses can't come because we don't have that land, then that would be a shame too, because we want to elevate maximum income potential of our residents by bringing higher paying jobs. Absolutely. And you got to have all of that. So it's a tough process for sure. It's a balance, as you're saying, for sure. So thank you for being here. Appreciate the comment.
Thank you, Whit.
for coming.
Thank you.
We're going to turn it over to Whit now for his director's report.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go a little out of order because we'll just follow on that. The Target Employment and Industrial Land Study, we actually kicked it off a little more than a week ago with Renaissance Planning, and Jared Austin is our project manager for that. I think we have a very robust schedule, and it's a very inclusive process because we had Dr. Johnson's team, housing and community development team members from Pinellas County on that call, and then Linda, I don't know if you saw this, but she wrote a fantastic blog post that went out yesterday addressing why we need to protect and preserve our industrial lands. But, there is already within our countywide rules the ability to be flexible. And you saw that with the Jabel property that you approved recently, where we allowed affordable housing on that. And you saw where we couldn't be flexible when we had a substandard project brought forward for the Raytheon property. So there's trade-offs of what we can accept and what we can't accept, and we make that recommendation to you. I know we are not the impediment to this, and our policy on industrial lands is not the impediment on that particular project in St. Pete that we were discussing. But I'm excited about this going forward. We do expect it to take the better part of this year. So by the end of the summer, we should have our recommendations from that. But that is, broad countywide policy. It will entail an inventory of all of our industrial and employment lands, and it will be looking at a survey of employers within and external to Pinellas County and the region who will help us understand better their needs. And I think the research and work that Dr. Johnson and her team are doing is going to be part of that understanding as well. So just wanted to let you know we've kicked it off, we're underway, we're moving forward, and we will bring regular updates to you as we have milestones completed. So we have draft work products, what we're hearing from the survey, things like that. We're not going to wait and dump it all at the very end. The next item is back to the safety arena. Last night I went to the town of Indian Shores, and you've seen Mayor Serrano and his team here before this board passionately advocating for a sidewalk in Gulf Boulevard that's not that shared bike lane that they have, because drivers sometimes drive over that to pass a car turning left. Last night they selected a sidewalk project after years of work to figure that out. And it's going to be on each side of the road, there will be a dedicated 5-foot sidewalk with a raised curb, which is what the mayor wanted for safety improvement, for safety reasons. There will be a bike lane next to that, and then there will be 10 feet travel lanes, and that will reinforce the 30-mile-an-hour speed through that section. So we're very happy. They're already on the priority list. We are going to be working with them to get an application in by the March 4th deadline so that they will be eligible for consideration in the new 5th year of the DOT work program. And that March 4th deadline is a hard deadline. So we can then work with FDOT to move it up if possible from that new 5th year. But all's going well on that. I was really pleased to see Mayor Serrano and the commission happy with that vote. It was unanimous, but they all recognized it wasn't a perfect solution because you only have 40 feet of right-of-way out there. So you're really struggling to give space for everybody. The next item is the Waterborne Committee, and I want to thank you all who are serving on that committee for meeting with us and talking through some issues in parallel to the one-on-one meetings that we've had in leading up to our February meeting. We've also met with PSTA one-on-one, and we've met with county administration one-on-one to package a request for operating assistance that will be divided somehow between the local government partners helping to restart that waterborne service in the Dunedin, Clearwater Beach area, and then hopefully using that as a springboard to expand that service to other parts of Pinellas County. The money question is always tough, but I think we're making progress, and I was encouraged by the conversation we had with county administration just yesterday or day before yesterday. We do expect a staff recommendation at the next Waterborne Committee. Hopefully the committee will accept that recommendation or modify it as they see appropriate, and we'll bring that back to this board in March or April. And that timing is important because I know Pinellas County is looking to the Waterborne Committee, at least in part, for its recommendation to continue the Cross Bay Ferry, which has to happen generally in the May timeframe. If they want to get out of that deal, they need to let Hillsborough County know before June 1st. So it all kind of does tie together. Any questions on any of those 3 items? Otherwise, that's my spotlight update for you today. Seeing none, I'll keep going. The Legislative Committee met right before this meeting, and we talked about mostly the bad bills that are advancing in Tallahassee, including the one that undermines our industrial land. It is House Bill 981 or Senate Bill 962. They are rapidly advancing, and Linda's blog post dealt a little bit with that. Essentially, what this would do is enable market rate residential and mixed-use development to compete with affordable housing in our industrial lands, notwithstanding any county requirements to the contrary. And local governments could certainly go above the current, in the bill, 10% threshold for affordable housing. But we would like to see our home rule respected, so that we can make those decisions that are appropriate for our context of a community. And there's hope that an amendment that's in bill drafting now will be added to the bill and voted on that would allow us to opt in as a countywide planning authority, along with the other 5 counties that have countywide planning. And I think most of the bill sponsors and legislators in Tallahassee understand the unique circumstances here in Pinellas County. I won't go through all the other bills, but we did have another discussion on holding virtual meetings among our advisory boards, and I just planted the seed, and I'll bring it back when I'm ready, when we've got a little bit more information. But I would like to pursue a strategy where we can seek legislative approval to conduct some of our advisory committee meetings virtually that involve citizens, because I think it adds to the diversity, I think it adds to the participation rate, and keeps us committed to really engaging the community in a meaningful way. We struggle to reach a quorum sometimes in those committees when we don't have when we have to approve people who are participating virtually to allow them to vote. And this is an issue that everybody around the state is dealing with. And I'm not sure we'll be able to get there, but what I would like to do is kind of work with the sunshine law advocates and people who really want to keep government in the open to make sure that we can bring them on board as we look at these efforts. So maybe sometime in the fall I'll be ready with some information about that. Are there any questions about the Legislative Committee? Councilmember Gabbard and I did go to Tallahassee. Is there anything you would like to add about that for this group?
No, it was a fantastic trip. Hopefully we can do it again next year and have more people participate. But just want to give, Whit a lot of kudos for putting those meetings together. I think that the work that you were talking about with the industrial land bills really, came out of those meetings that we had last week, and trying to find a compromise with really representatives from all over the state. It wasn't even just our delegation. And so I just wanted to commend you on that. And it was a great trip, and hopefully we'll at least have some success. I always tell people, you bite off legislation issues like a little bit at a time, because there's a whole lot going on in Tallahassee that we cannot control, but something like this could be detrimental to our community. So good work, Whit. Thank you.
Thank you, and kudos to Tina. And I won't say anything about eating the elephant one bite at a time. That's a bad joke. And to your point about having more people there, it was great that you and I had sort of intimate meetings with our legislators, but I think it sends a better message if 2 or 3 of us can be there from the board, and you can kind of go and show that there's some solidarity. I saw other delegations doing that, and they kind of packed the rooms, and I don't know if we need 13 people there, but having 2 or 3 would be welcome. So I would encourage anybody who wants to join us next year, and we'll try to overlap when Amplify Clearwater or other groups like we did this time are in town, and maybe we can piggyback on that. So it's not taking 2 trips in consecutive weeks. That's harsh on anybody.
Been a long week.
One last thing I'll just mention, Commissioner Eggers had a great suggestion when we had our briefing before this meeting. We're going to be putting together a summary of the construction projects that are beginning either this year or next year, and give you a timeline for start, an estimated timeline for completion. And we already have the interactive TIP, so you can go find that on a map. But I think just having a one-page handout that we can bring you, that we can post on the website for easy reference by the public, gives you a little bit more detail at the hands-on ready, because we have some significant projects. We have the first roundabout being built on the state highway system in Pinellas County this year. We have the US 19 from Maine to Curlew, the interchange at Curlew going under construction, likely by this fall. And then we have a number of other projects, some resurfacing projects that are happening. And I think the public just needs to know, what are we expecting? When is this likely to happen? And the business community particularly that might be affected by that. So that was a great suggestion, and we'll work to make that happen. That's all I have.
Okay, well, I just wanted to bring up on informational items that there are two MPOAC Weekend Institutes. One will be on April 22nd through the 24th, and one is May 20th through the 22nd. And that's for new members or members who have never attended. Talks a lot about what we do here. If you're interested, I would get in touch with Tina. Okay. And thank you, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming today. Okay.